What's going on YouTube? Trevor Financial here with another video. Today we're going to go over the top 5, in my opinion, stocks you should invest in 2019. So these are stocks that I personally have either shares in or plan to have shares in and have been looking at throughout their past 5-year returns and what they have and haven't had, what their PE values are, et cetera, et cetera. So, in my personal opinion, these are my top 5. You might have different top 5. You might think the others need to be in this list. And, I'm always open for new information. So, leave it in the comments and I'll make sure that I look into it. And we can go from there. So, let's go on and get started. Number 5 for me is NVIDIA. NVIDIA has exceptionally grown from the 5-year returns that they've had. NVIDIA seems to be one of the best that I've seen that has no end to it in the near future. I feel like it'll be a great long-term investment. I've owned a few shares with them right now, currently, just to kind of get my feet wet. And so far, I've yet to go into the negatives because of what they've done, because of the amount of revenue they're pulling in. It just feels like that's just one of the better ones to have under your belt. They're perfectly valued. They're not overvalued. They're not undervalued. As of right now, they are based off of the numbers a little bit overvalued, but from where they came from and where they're going, it kind of just evens itself out to where you would feel like, okay, I'm making a good investment here. I'm not just putting my money into something and leaning on a prayer. You're actually putting your money towards something that has potential and has growth opportunities. Next on the list, number 4, and it's on a lot of people's list, Alibaba. Now, Alibaba is a Chinese market. It has great growth opportunity, just like NVIDIA does. It hasn't been around as long, but it does have excellent potential. It's a little bit more expensive to own a share, but overall, I feel like it is on par with, not necessarily on par, but can be on par with like Amazon and other online store services because of how much they've grown in the past couple of years. You can see for yourself, what kind of numbers they're bringing in and what kind of yields they're having. So it makes you feel like it's more of a good investment. It makes it feel like it's more of a promising investment than just like, for instance, a short-term investment. This isn't, these that I'm listing today aren't going to be investments that you just say, okay, I'm gonna do it for 3, 6, 9 months and then call it quits and just trade them out. No, don't do. That's not what this list is. This list is for long-term investments and not just immediate turnarounds. I'll do another video later on about stocks that are good for that, for like day trades and everything. But that's not what this video is. This video is for long-term investments only. All right. So coming up on the list for number 3 is a heavy hitter, Disney. Now, Disney has had great numbers, and they have a great payout, in my opinion. They have an amazing payout. Now, Disney has an upcoming streaming service that is coming out this year, and it's supposed to be combating Netflix. Now, Netflix is already kind of in a hole, and they're not really doing too well right now, but with Disney withdrawing themselves from them and everything, it's really going to negatively impact Netflix. In my opinion, I wouldn't invest in Netflix right now anyway, but that's going to be in another video. Disney also has major growth opportunities from where they already are. Disney is buying out a lot of big names and making themselves even larger of an empire that in my opinion, it's crazy. It's crazy not to invest in them, It's just one of those things where you just kind of grab a couple of shares in it and then you just let it go. You invest in it because it's always going to be good. It's always going to be there. It's kind of like investing in a Colgate or something like that, something that will always be a necessity, will always be there. And I don't see an end in the future or even in the near future at all for Disney. I only see growth potentials from them. And in my opinion, I would go ahead and invest in them now while their shares are still relatively low to hold and just get a few of them in there just so you can have a diversity in your portfolio. And you can say, okay, I have Disney in there. Disney's always going to bring me positive numbers. Even if they have a negative, a bad day, their bad days will never outweigh their good days, Disney also has bought out Hulu, or is planning to. So that's going to take out another streaming service out of the race. It's it's just a lot. Disney is doing a lot right now, investing wise, and in my opinion, I feel like I would do it, which I plan on doing it. I plan on investing with Disney within the next, 6 months, trying to get a few shares in there, trying to make sure I get a little bit more diversity. But Disney is something that I want to try and get in now as soon as possible so that I can make sure that I have the best possible outcome with them, because I don't want to have to try and make up for it in the long run because I waited too long to try and do it. So that's number 3 on my list. Number four would be Amazon. Now, Amazon is a powerhouse for investors. Amazon is a extremely valuable investment to make because Amazon is taking over everything. Amazon is taking over. They're basically the Disney of shopping. They're taking over every aspect of online shopping. They're taking over every aspect of just everything they can get their hands on. They're beating it, like they're hurting Walmart, they're hurting Target, they're hurting Big Lots and Kmart. They're hurting all these other people, all these other businesses because they are doing so well at what they're doing. Now, Amazon is not one of those businesses that I would just say, all right, I'm going to get it. And when they start going down, I'm going to sell it real quick and get rid of it. That way I can just keep this negative equity out. No. Amazon, I have not seen, or anyone has projected a downfall for Amazon yet, because Amazon is just so good at what they do, especially coming out with their new shipping service with Prime. They have their own shipping. They're slowly starting to cut themselves away from UPS. They're investing in themselves. Therefore, it's making them also invest and use that money to invest in other aspects. Expansion and it's amazing how well Amazon can finesse and manage the way they handle their finances and the way they handle their business. It's just my opinion. To be honest, I feel like they're just a little bit overvalued in their current state because of how much they're trying to do with their business, because opening up opening up more warehouses, and you have that, you have the shipping services that they're trying to provide. They're trying to provide more. They're trying to provide a lot more with their streaming services. They're trying to provide a lot this year, and to me, I feel like you will overpay, but in the long run, in your long-term investments and everything, it'll come back and it'll overbalance itself to where it's more beneficial to just go ahead and get it now than once everything is set in stone and they're actually running smoothly and all the investors start coming in. Because at that point, where are you left except for paying more than what you would have paid now if you would have just gotten to the game at the current rate it's at, which in my opinion is the best rate to have it at. Because if you wait, I mean, you're not really gaining anything there. You're not really benefiting anywhere. If you wait until you say, okay, I'm gonna wait it out, wait a couple of more days, wait a couple of more weeks, and see what kind of possibility they have. The stock market is so unpredictable that today it might be 166.83 and tomorrow it might be 200. You never know, and I understand that kind of growth isn't guaranteed. That's kind of far-fetched, but that gives you an idea, because who's to say it can't happen? I understand it hasn't happened, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for that example. But what I need you to understand is that if you wait, it could actually hurt you in the long run more than it can help you. And that's just my personal opinion. That's just the way I see it. So that's number 4 on my list. Number 1, I'm sorry, I got my numbers mixed up. Number 1 on my list is probably going to shock a lot of people, because if you pay attention to what I have invested in and everything, this is going to just be completely random out of nowhere. I say number 1 is Facebook. I mean, Facebook has to be the best thing since sliced bread when it comes down to social media, and the numbers that they represent are just insane. Their growth is insane. Like when they first started out, of course, everybody's going to have that rough patch, but they had like no hope. And then out of nowhere, they get this spike. Their shares went from like 10 to like 160 plus. It's like that's something that's never gonna go away. Facebook is never gonna go away. I mean, they own 90% of social media platforms that are being used today. You know, it's silly not to invest in them. A lot of people might say, okay, that's a bad idea because why would you invest in social media? Social media is unpredictable because something else might come out and boom, you just lost your investment because now this platform is taking over the platform that you just invested in. Though that is true, and that is a possibility, that's a possibility with everything because Walmart didn't anticipate Amazon coming out. That's just something that kind of came up and then started to take over, and you just have to adapt to it. So if you want to be more, if you don't want to take these risks, I should say, if you don't want to take these risks with these companies and everything, then don't try and invest in individual stocks. Try and do a S&P 500, call it a day, do your Vanguard, do your ETF, do you something else that has lower risk. But if you're trying to invest and you're trying to get high dividend and you're trying to get like better numbers and build your portfolio, these are the types of stocks I would invest in personally because of all the exponential growth that they've had and all the exponential growth that I see them having for the foreseeable future. It's it's just perfect in my opinion. I mean, these five, you have a little bit of everything. You have Disney, you have Amazon with shipping, you have Facebook with social media. I mean, you got Facebook owns so much that it's silly to not own a few shares in that market, in my opinion. Now, again, like I said, these five are all based off my personal opinion. These are things that I either invested in or plan to invest in, which 3 of the 5 I've already invested in. So, and I haven't had any negative returns. I might have a day or two of negative returns, but these are long-term investments. These aren't investments that I'm just making today for 3 months or for 6 months or for 9 months. These are investments I'm making for 5, 10 years down the road. These aren't investments that I'm looking at for buy low, sell high. These aren't day trade options. These are investments that I plan on keeping for a prolonged period of time and seeing where it takes me, because so far I've seen nothing but good numbers. So it's really just honestly just keeping me pep to keep going. So, this is my 5. These are my 5 investments that I would suggest in 2019. Everybody has their own opinions. Everybody might have other lists. Let me know down in the comments what you're thinking about, what 5 you're thinking about, or what 5 you think I should have had on here, which ones I shouldn't have had on here, or if I missed anything, or if I forgot anything. I want to hear it. I need to know where I'm lacking. I need to know what I can be doing better. And I'm here to help you. So you helping me is helping the community. So just, let me know down in the comments if you like what you heard or if you like what you see. Just drop a like, drop a sub, and press the little bell, get a notification every time I upload, and, take risks.